Hi everyone, welcome back to Nirja Education. Today we are going to discuss the second chapter from Standard 7 Science, that is Nutrition in Animals. Before watching this video, please subscribe our channel Nirja Education and don't forget to press the bell icon. Okay, today we are going to discuss the nutrition in animals. What is nutrition? Already we have learned all these things in lesson 1, that is nutrition in plants. So what is nutrition? We will have a quick recap about that one, nutrition, nutrients and everything. So you know that the intake of food and the utilization of food by the animals or plants are known as the nutrition, and the chemical substances present in that food is known as nutrients. Different types of nutrients are there: carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals, roughage, all that we have discussed in lesson 1. So you know that plants that are the primary source. Plants are known as the primary source. Why they are known as the primary source? Because they are making food by themselves. All the animals or some plants, they are depending these plants directly or indirectly. The plant eating animals that depends directly on the plants, and the flesh eating animals depends indirectly to the plants. Anyway, plants are the primary source. Plants are known as the primary source. Now we will see according to the food habit. According to the food habit of the animals, mainly animals can be divided into 3 types. What are the 3? Herbivorous, carnivores and omnivores. These are the 3 categories in which animals can be divided: herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Then what are herbivores? You know all this. Then the animals that eat only plant and plant product are known as herbivores. I will repeat once. The animals that eat plant and plant products are known as herbivores. Then what are carnivores? Yes, the animals that eat flesh of other animals. That means that eat the smaller animals, that are known as carnivores. And the last one is omnivores. Omnivores means they eat both plants as well as flesh they are eating. They are known as omnivores. Now we will see some of the example for this herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Herbivores, you know that example. Yes, cow, sheep, etc. are example for this herbivores. Then what about carnivores? Carnivores, lion, tiger, etc. are example for carnivores animal. Then omnivores, yes, human beings itself is an example for omnivores. We can eat plants and as well as flesh we are eating. So these omnivores, human beings are example, and also crow, bear, etc. are also example for this omnivores. You may heard about all these 3 categories. Some other categories are also there. I have written some examples here. This you will study in higher class. We will discuss the names only here. That is frugivorous. The first one is frugivorous. Frugivorous animals means the animals that eat fruits. Fruits are known as frugivorous animals. Example है monkey. Monkey example for frugivorous animal, and some of the birds they are eating the fruits only, so they are example for frugivorous animals. And the next one is sanguivorous animals. Sanguivorous animals means the animals that suck the blood, the organism that suck the blood from the host, that are known as sanguivorous animals. Example है leech. Leech, mosquito, all that are example for this sanguivorous animals. Next we will see the different modes of nutrition. Now we will see the different modes of nutrition. The modes of nutrition can be divided into mainly two types, that is autotrophic mode of nutrition and the next one is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. What is autotrophic mode of nutrition? Yes, plants make their own food. You know the process. That what is that process? Yes, that process is photosynthesis. Yes. By photosynthesis, by the process of photosynthesis, plants make their own food. So they are known as autotrophs and this mode of nutrition is known as autotrophic mode of nutrition. And the next one is heterotrophic. Heterotrophs means they can't make their own food by themselves. So they are depending on plants directly or indirectly for the food, because already we have discussed the herbivorous, carnivores, omnivores. Herbivores, you know that they are directly depends on plants for the food, but carnivores means they are eating the flesh of other animals. Other animals, like suppose lion is eating sheep. Sheep means that depends plants for the food, and lion eats sheep means it is indirectly depends on plants. That is why we are calling plants as the primary source for food. Like this way, some of the plants, they can't prepare their own food, so that is why for food they depends the plants. This mode of nutrition is known as heterotrophic nutrition. Already in first chapter we have learned that different types of heterotrophic nutrition, that is saprotropic mode of nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and the last one is holozoic. This one is new for you, that one, that is holozoic nutrition. Before that we will have a recap about these two. What is saprotrophic mode of nutrition? Saprotrophs means they are getting food from the dead and decaying matter. Saprotrophs get food from the dead and decaying matter. And second one is parasites. Parasites means they are getting nutrients from the host plant or host animal. Here we are discussing about animals, so they are getting food from the host animals. Such animals are parasitic animals. The next is holozoic mode of nutrition. This type of nutrition, actually in human beings also this type of nutrition is happening, that is holozoic nutrition. That is the food that we are taking is complex one. The food that we are taking is the complex one. This complex food should be converted into simpler substance before absorption by the body. Otherwise, these complex substances can't be absorbed by the body. So, before digestion, it should be converted into simpler one. These complex substances should be converted into simpler one. So, this type of nutrition is known as holozoic nutrition. Holozoic nutrition, we are intaking the complex substances. After that, it should be converted into simpler substances. This type of nutrition is known as holozoic. You know that the nutrients that contains carbohydrates, proteins and everything, all that are complex substances. So, these complex substances, with the help of enzymes, it should be converted into the simpler substances. Now we will discuss about this holozoic nutrition and different steps involved in the holozoic nutrition. Next we will see the different process involved in the holozoic nutrition. So I already told you that the complex substances, here it is dividing or breaking down into simpler substances. For that, different processes are involved in this one. The first one is ingestion. Ingestion means the taking of food. The mode of taking food or the process of taking food is known as ingestion. You know that different animals are taking food in different ways. Example, when we are taking bee, honeybee, you know that they are sucking nectar. They are sucking nectar. Mosquito, they are sucking blood from our vessels or from the host, they are sucking blood. Suppose when we are discussing about infants, small babies, that is infants, they are depending on mother's milk. They are depending on mother's milk. When we are talking about ourselves, what we are doing? We are intake of food, they like this way. by hands only we are taking food, and birds, they are using the beaks to take food. So there are different way of intake of food according to the there are different way of taking food. This is known as ingestion. And the second process is that digestion. What is digestion? The food that we have taken should be converted into simpler substance that is happening inside the body. In the case of human beings, the digestion is occurring in the stomach. In the stomach, the digestion is occurring. That means the complex molecules are converting into simpler substance. Suppose starch, the carbohydrate that we are taking, it should be converted into glucose. So this process is known as digestion. That means the breaking down. It is happening in the case of human beings. It is occurring in the stomach. So this breaking down of complex substances into simpler substances, that is known as digestion. The next one is absorption. After digestion, the food should be distributed to the all over the body for the proper growth and proper development. So that process is known as absorption. This digested food is absorbed and it should be distributed to the body for the proper growth and development. That is known as absorption. And the next one is assimilation. So already we discussed that the distribution of food, that is known as absorption. After the distribution of food, this is utilized by the body. This is utilized by the body for the proper growth. I already told you that absorption means the distribution of food for the proper development. Assimilation means the proper utilization of this food by the body. I hope you have understood the difference between this absorption and assimilation. And the last process is that egestion. Egestion means the removal of undigested food from the body, that is known as egestion. The removal of undigested food from the body, that is known as egestion. So these are the different steps involved in the Holozoic nutrition. The first one is ingestion, that is intake of food, and the second one is digestion, breaking down of complex substances into simpler one, and the third one is absorption, distribution of food to the body for the proper working, and the fourth one is assimilation, the proper utilization of the food by the body, and the last one is egestion, the removal of undigested food from the body, that is known as egestion. Now we will see the different type of Holozoic nutrition, that is in unicellular organisms and human beings and everything, that we will discuss in the next video. I hope all of you have understood this Holozoic nutrition. Thank you all and have a nice day.